Hi, my name is Aaron Glenn. I just graduated. I was a high school senior. I'll be attending Babson College in the fall to study business administration. And my interests really lie in the arts, exploring fashion, the applied arts, all the ways that the arts can kind of find a place in our world and hopefully have a true impact as a form of activism. As like any kid that, is able to start studying in the city, you want to explore it as soon as possible. So me and my friends went to the Met. There was this exhibition that I'd never seen before, Heavenly Bodies. It was the Costume Institute's annual exhibition. And so I never really encountered like fashion as an art really at all. I had never even encountered high fashion. To not only kind of encounter high fashion, but to encounter it in a museum space, I think kind of really widened my idea of what arts can be. It really kind of expanded the whole scope of my like knowledge of art from really what would be traditionally considered the fine arts to the applied arts. It opened up my interest in fashion, in more like expressive installation art, mixed media. It really just kind of opened up that avenue to different forms of art that I never really kind of understood. So that moment, I think, kind of decided a lot of the trajectory of where I've gone as an artist and creatively ever since. It was just stepping into that exhibition, kind of seeing fashion as up there with paintings. It was being exhibited with these medieval masterpieces. I'm Catholic, biracial, and so coming from an Irish Catholic family and as well as a Buddhist Korean family, there were lots of different very intricate religious and cultural ties that I felt between those two sides. And then after that, kind of coming to terms with that over the course of my life, and then introducing a new identity, my LGBT identity, which of course challenged a lot of the identities that I had come to understand and internalize. I think was really, really challenging, but ultimately I think kind of asked me to think very critically about who I am as a biracial person, as a Catholic, as an LGBTQ person. I think kind of understanding the ways in which I can come to terms with these different identities, mold them into my understanding of myself, of course was very challenging, and required in many ways a lot of creativity. But I think going through that thought process, going through critically thinking about these identities really helped me learn a lot more about what it means to be an LGBTQ person. And it's kind of also opened my eyes as far as my activism, understanding and being able to empathize with other people that might also feel that their identities might contradict. I think that a lot of my work in my school, as far as how I wanted to shift my school community, did revolve around the arts. It really revolved around encouraging administration, encouraging our teachers to really see the value that arts can have in the formation. There's this idea in the Jesuit education of the formation of a young man academically and spiritually. And I think that in many ways the arts were considered to be kind of removed from that. But I think in many ways kind of understanding that not only can the arts be an important form of expression, that expression just in general should be considered a very important part of this idea of formation, but also that a lot of students are already interested in that. I don't think that there was a realization that students already have a natural inclination towards the arts, but that was never being nurtured properly. So I think kind of the thing that I addressed most in my school community was the lack of appreciation and support for the arts. And that's something that I want to encourage, but also encourage the student body to pursue themselves, actively encourage their administration and encourage each other to explore the arts. I think it was something that not only needed to happen on an administration level, but also on a student body level. And so I really tried to encourage encourage open expression and the pursuit of that on all of the levels of my school community. I would say my favorite like fashion designer would definitely be Alexander McQueen. He's been like very, very influential for my work. I think he's really, I think is really important because thinking of fashion as an art, I think he's one of the rare designers that took fashion and made it not only intersect with art through its craftsmanship and the process of making it, but also he very much involved art in theater, performance, political ideas. I think he really kind of expanded the idea of what fashion can be and how it can kind of intersect with other artistic disciplines. And then as far as my favorite artist, I really, really am interested in a lot of performance art that more so uses the artist itself as a canvas. Again, I think that kind of connects a bit to my interest in fashion as almost like and using a person as a canvas. But I think that, again, artists that really kind of approach political themes in ways that are not as collectivist and are more personal and idiosyncratic. Like I really enjoy Bunny Rogers's work. She uses the idea of collective trauma to kind of use it as a mirror for her own personal experiences with trauma. And I think that's really important. I think that as artists, it's really, I think a lot of artists have a natural inclination to portray political ideas in a way that's easily understandable to others. And they believe that that is how they can relate to it. But I think in many ways, pursuing and portraying a political idea in a way that is very specific to the artists themselves, even if the viewer might not be able to necessarily understand that immediately. It is that kind of personal honesty that will resonate with them, even if the exact like methodology of making it isn't necessarily something that they relate to. And I think Bunny Rogers is a fantastic example of that. I'm just so excited to be able to join the Live Out Loud community, to meet the other recipients. I think that it's really unique because the scholarship brings together students of from so many different backgrounds and so many different places, but we all are kind of united through a central interest in activism in relation to the LGBTQ community. And I think it's so rare for a program or a scholarship or an organization to bring together youth like that. And so I feel so blessed to be able to join a community like that and meet others that share my shared interests. Because I hope that my future looks like my present. I really hope, and I'm going to work towards really trying to maintain this idea that even as I grow older, I can still do the things that I'm passionate about. I can still pursue what I'm interested in. Because I don't want to sacrifice that to this idea of what it means to enter into a professional life, an adult life, a life that's not as free as you would consider youth to be. And so I hope that my future is much like my present. I want to continue to pursue activism, continue to pursue the arts, continue to pursue the things that I'm passionate about, and not have to sacrifice that. That's really what I hope my future looks like.